Morning children. Till now we were studying civics chapter. Last period I gave you question answers of civics chapter 4. I hope you all have written the question answers and completed your civics notebook. Today we are going to start with chapter 4 of history, and the name of the chapter is In the Earliest Cities. Children, can you guess and tell me what were the two main oldest cities? Of course, the name which comes in your mind is Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. Now, where is Harappa? Do you know where is Harappa right now? Yes, it is in present-day Pakistan. And Mohenjo-daro is still in India with the modified name and the modified culture advancement in every field. So today we are going to study about these two cities, how the people lived in these two cities, what were the houses made of, their art, craft, and everything about these cities. So children, let's talk about the earliest cities in little more detail. What you see here, of course, it's a map of early settlements in ancient India, and the Indus Valley was home to the largest of the four ancient urban civilizations of Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and China. It was not discovered until the 1920s, and most of its ruins, including major cities, remain to be excavated. Its script has not been deciphered, and basic questions about the people who created this highly complex culture was unanswered. Now, these are the early states of the old world. Here, as you see, these are the four major ancient civilizations like Egypt, Mesopotamia, Indus Valley, and China, and their location as you see in the world map. This is an old ancient world map. Now, as I have told you in my introduction, we will talk more about Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. The Indus Valley civilization flourished around 2500 BC in the western part of South Asia, which is now in today's Pakistan and western India. It is often said as Harappan civilization, and its first discovered city was Harappa. So children, what you see in this figure? Do you understand anything? It's a historical recreation drawing of the city of Harappa. So this is the recreation place of the city of Harappa. Now what is this? It is telling about Mohenjo-daro. Mohenjo-daro was an extremely well-planned city that was similar in design to Harappa in the north. Both cities were approximately 3 miles in diameter, laid out in a grid-like formation, and were built primarily of burnt and unfired mud bricks. So here in this slide they are telling about Mohenjo-daro, that it was almost similar in design to Harappan city, and both cities they were approximately 3 miles in diameter, and they had a grid-like formation, and they were built of burnt and unfired mud bricks. So as you can see in this slide, it is a view of the Mohenjo-daro, of the city of Mohenjo-daro. Then as we compare, as we discuss about the two cities, that is Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. The ancient city of Harappa was first excavated by archaeologists in 1920, and over 30,000 people have lived here. So first we will tell about Harappa, that it was excavated by the archaeologists in the year 1920, and nearly 30,000 people lived here in this city. Then coming to Mohenjo-daro. The ancient city of Mohenjo-daro means Mount of the Dead. So it was known as Mount of the Dead, and nobody lives there now. It is the biggest settlement archaeologists have discovered in the Indus Valley. It covers about 1.5 square kilometers, and archaeologists believe that over 35,000 people lived here. So children, when we talk about the two cities, it was that in Harappa nearly 30,000 people lived in this city, and when we talk about Mohenjo-daro, nearly 35,000 people lived there in the city. But right now nobody lives in this city, that is in Mohenjo-daro. Nobody lives here, and this map shows settlement in the Indus Valley. Then why people settled here? So children, let's talk about in little more detail the story of Indus Valley civilization. It is a story of a people tied to their geography and environment. The geography is one of the great extremes, including deserts, mountains, forests and jungles. So everything was there, and all of these environments experience unpredictable periods of flood and no rain at all. So children, this Indus Valley civilization, it experienced unpredictable periods of flood and no rain at all, that is drought, and even monsoons. And these difficult conditions were also a great asset to the development of its early civilizations. In the Himalayas, they provided a great deal of protection from invasions from the north, and other mountain ranges provided similar protection in the west and east. And the waterways of the Indus Valley provided an excellent source for trade. So children, why people settled here? Now we can say it in a nutshell, that because they have all the favorable conditions. The climate is there, the environment is proper, the geography is there, and mountains, the deserts, forests, jungles, all these things they gave a proper support. Like Himalayas, they provided a great deal of protection from invasions. The Indus River, it provided an excellent source for trade. So everything was favorable over here. Then we talk about these physical features which were near to these Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. First of all, we will talk about the Thar desert. It's a very hot place, as it has very little water, so very hard to grow plants, and it is difficult for people and even animals to live there here. Then coming on to Himalayan mountain range. The Himalayan mountain range has some of the world's highest mountains. They are covered in snow all year long. Some of their snow melts in the spring, and thus water runs off the mountains and many rivers are created. Then we talk about the Indus River. The Indus River rises from the snowy mountains of the Himalayas, and it flows down to the hot, dry lands below. And every spring, the mountain snows melted and the river gets flooded. And when the water drains away, it leaves behind a rich mud. And this mud is very good for planting crops. And today, the river is controlled by dams and canals. Now moving on to the Arabian Sea. People have used boats to fish and trade on the Arabian Sea for thousands of years. Now what is all these pictures, children? It's the strips of grain. It's the strips of grains represent seeds of grain found near these objects. So as you see in this picture, and these are stone weights of different sizes. Children, this is a balance. It was used for measuring things. And these are the weights of different sizes which are used for measuring things. Then what might the people of Mohenjo-daro have used these objects for? And why? Let's find out why the people, they have used different stones, different things, these objects for. What people use these for? Why? And this is, children, the water filled area. As I have told you in the beginning only, we will study in detail about everything what all was there in Mohenjo-daro and Harappa. So this is a water filled area, and these are the steps the people used to enter the water. And the entire structure was located on the citadel, that is a hill surrounded by a wall. So as you can see in the picture, it's a hill surrounded by a wall. And what might the people of Mohenjo-daro have used this structure for? Now while seeing this picture, it might be coming in your mind why the people of Mohenjo-daro have used such type of structure. Why do the people used only this structure? And children, this is the puzzle. The puzzle is of a statue of a female figure. So this is the statue of a female figure, and it is a statue of a male figure, that is half its female and half its male. And children, this is a necklace, the jewelry made of semi-precious stones. So now finally the question comes in our mind. What do these objects tell you about the personal appearance of the people of Mohenjo-daro? So what do these objects tell us about the personal experience of the people of Mohenjo-daro? So I think it tells us that the people, they were very fond of each and everything. They were very fond of building things, the figures, the statues, the jewelry, and everything they enjoyed, and they lived a happy and settled life. That's all for today, children. Thank you. Have a good day. In the next class, we will be studying more about these two cities as well as the other two ancient old culture. Thank you. Have a good day.